What does literacy mean to me? It means freedom. It means opportunity. It means exploration and creativity. It's opening doors where they were previously closed. So it's so important for anyone to be able to read, because when you can read, you can go anywhere in the world and you can open up all the doors that are right in front of you and explore and basically change your life for the better. Now I'm going to read an excerpt from a wonderful book I can't stop reading. It's called Max Perkins, Genius Editor. Now, it is a popular movie which has Colin Firth in it, and it's a wonderful movie. It also has Jude Law and others. The book focuses on Max Perkins, who was the managing editor at one point for Scribner, which is was one of the largest publishing houses that ever existed. And interestingly, because of the relevance to COVID, this book talks about the relationship that Max had, a very unusual, interesting relationship with three icons. And they were F. Scott Fitzgerald, AKA from the author of The Great Gatsby, Ernest Hemingway, and also Thomas Wolfe. And in the book, unlike the movie, the book goes into so much depth of the relationship between Perkins. He was so much more than an editor. And for me, being a publisher and a book creation expert, ghostwriter, editor myself, this book is so relevant because I work, like Max Perkins, with thought leaders, and there's so much good material here for anyone thinking about writing, which of course connects to reading. So I'm going to read a passage now from this book. And again, remember the timeliness of this. We're talking, this is right after the Spanish flu, and then 9 years later or so, the Great Depression hit. So Fitzgerald is writing to Max Perkins, and he says, "If only this world would settle down on some kind of stable basis so a man can tend to his own affairs." Now, and then Max wrote Fitzgerald, he said, and this is Max the editor, "I think that you soon will begin to steady and do consistent work. So let the basis of everything you do, so long as it is a basis, make it a fixed point from which a man can view things." So 8 years at this time when they had this correspondence, 8 years had passed since The Great Gatsby. And just to share with you an aside, The Great Gatsby did not, even though it got incredible acclaim, it was not the iconic book, timeless book that it is today at that time, but it did give Fitzgerald his start. And yet Max wrote Scott, whenever any of these new writers, so new writers were coming into Scribner, whenever any of these new writers come up who are brilliant, I always realize that you have more talent and more skill than any of them, but circumstances have prevented you from realizing upon the fact for a long time. That summer, Max contrived a plan to get Fitzgerald out of his heavy debt to Scribner's by tying in serialization of his novel in the magazine. And we're talking about 1933. Now, the interesting points about that excerpt are that Fitzgerald's living situation, his wife Zelda eventually was put into an insane asylum, sadly, and died in a fire there. it was very sad because they had a real love for each other, but then it became a struggle as Zelda got worse and worse, and it certainly impacted Fitzgerald's writing. And Fitzgerald juxtaposed against Hemingway or Thomas Wolfe, what's so interesting about his writing is he would reflect on every word. So basically what I learned is when you have fantastic writing ability, you basically can take as long as you wish to write a book. And Max would basically say, as the editor, tell me when you have another book ready. I don't even care what it is. We're going to publish it. Imagine if you could be that kind of writer. And it does inspire me, and I hope it's inspired you to at least go see the movie, if not read this wonderful book, because it's really a book that keeps on giving you insights on writing and reading, and most of all, human relationships. Thank you.